Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Mann Travels this morning. Today, we actually have a very good friend of ours and travel partner, Tracy Aldridge, is here today. He is actually going to go over his favorite insight vacation, the Dalmatian Elegance, which is an unforgettable journey to Croatia, which I believe he actually took. So firsthand experience here today, folks. We know we can't travel right now, but we still want to dream. And that's why we're here. We're hoping to provide you with some great destinations and travel opportunities to help inspire you for when it is time to travel again. So Tracy, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thanks, Billy. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. And I want to first say thank you to Mann Travels for this amazing opportunity to connect with you during this time that we really don't get to connect with anyone very much. And I so appreciate the family of Mann Travels, and I do feel like they are a family. They're part of my family, and they're just very precious and wonderful people, from Gary all the way down through the whole staff. The last few years, I've gotten to know them very well, and I just want to thank them for continuing to promote travel and continue to work together to help us get through this difficult time. And if you're not familiar with where your local Mann Travel office might be, I mean, High Point, Hickory, Monroe, all over Charlotte, Rock Hill, Fort Mill, they're everywhere. So be sure to check out your local office or reach directly out to them via phone right now, and they can definitely help connect you with some wonderful vacation opportunities. Just briefly about who I am a native North Carolinian. If you can't tell from this accent, I grew up here in the Charlotte area and just happy to be part of this part of the world. I now live up in the Lake Norman area, but I cover 5 states for Insight Vacations and Luxury Gold. So it is a big area to work with, and I do appreciate the wonderful travel advisors. And by the way, today is National Travel Advisor Day. So if you work with a travel agent, travel advisor, call them up and tell them thank you for being awesome people today when you have a chance to do that. So introduction to Insight Vacations real quickly. We are a part of a bigger company called the Travel Corporation. It's a huge organization, about a $2 billion a year business. We're very fortunate to be the premier luxury and premium escorted travel side of that business. We also have a sister brand called Luxury Gold that also travels to this part of the world. But we're going to talk today about our Insight Vacations trip, and one specifically that I did last year, 53 weeks ago, actually right now. I was in Croatia on our wonderful journey called the Dalmatian Elegance. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, but before we get into the details of that, I want to talk about Dalmatia in general. You've heard of Croatia. You might remember that it's part of Yugoslavia. A lot of warfare back in the 90s there, some interesting culture and history taking place there, but the coastline is really considered Dalmatia, and it's no larger than Connecticut. Technically, it's about half the size of the island of Wales, but there are a lot of UNESCO World Heritage Sites along this area. Diocletian's Palace we'll be talking about here in a few minutes, in the beautiful city of Split, all the way down through to Hvar, which is the Lavender Island. We'll talk about that. Korčula we'll talk about. We also spend time there. It's where Marco Polo was born. So when you say Marco, I won't say Polo. I'm just kidding. We won't play that game. The island of Brac, with the most beautiful beach in the world. I'll show you a picture of that as well. So this part of the world is a little bit undiscovered by a lot of U.S. tourists. You might have seen Game of Thrones and things like that that are filmed in this beautiful rustic part of the world, but we encourage you to go. Now, we are an escorted vacation company, so all of our trips typically are land-based, where you're traveling from point A to point B and doing a lot of things in these different places. This is the only trip today that I'm going to talk about that is actually a full cruise with us, and I'll get into the details of that in a moment. So why travel to this part of the world? It's lesser known. It's not necessarily as popular as certain places, which also means it's probably less touristed, which means smaller crowds and a little more freedom. Beautiful scenery. I'm going to show you some photographs of that. The UNESCO World Heritage Sites I mentioned. Art and culture is amazing in this part of the world. The people are wonderful. They're so excited to see travelers. And you're treated like royalty, actually, in this part of the world. They just love the tourists coming through. And the staff that we have there on the ships that we use here on the Adriatic Sea, you'll be treated like royalty with them as well. So the Dalmatian Elegance is a 9-day trip. It's very reasonably priced, around $3,000 per person, and you've got to throw some airfare and stuff in there. But you're looking at $300 per person per day, but basically everything's included. You don't have to worry about purchasing a lot of meals. You might have one lunch or dinner here and there that you'll have to purchase. And our guests find this to be a very appealing trip. You can check out all our ratings with FIFO on our website, and these are direct feedback from our guests. And so we'd love for you to read those. So let's jump right into the itinerary. I'm going to kind of keep this map off to the side every slide here and show you some small pictures in the corner here. The first day, of course, wisely, you want to fly in maybe a day early before the actual cruise itself leaves. As you know, airlines sometimes have issues and we might get delayed here and there. And it actually happened to me when I flew out there. So just be sure to fly in a day early. We kind of asked to do that, and you'll have wonderful time in Split. Split is an amazing small city here. It is a port city. A lot of great places to walk and check out. It's very safe. The hotel is wonderful there. They have great staff that will help you get out and explore. But also with the jet lag, you're looking at about a 7-hour time difference. So it is good to get there that day early. Take that afternoon nap once you get in, settled in, and then you're all fresh and ready to go on day 2 when we actually sort of start the trip. Now, that day, you're going to also do a guided tour of Diocletian's palace there in Split. Now, this is a Roman emperor's palace. Now, you think, wait a minute, this is Croatia. This is not in Rome. This is the only Roman palace that's not considered within the typical Roman Empire confines. And Diocletian's palace is a wonderful example of this Roman architecture there. And it's still open. People actually have weddings there. There's a chapel there. Of course, over time, the different religions would take over the palaces and things like that. So there is a Christian church located in there. While I was there, there was a wedding. It was just beautiful to see the wedding in this amazing palace. So it is open for folks to come through. It's sort of the marketplace there. But we do have a guided tour of Diocletian's palace. And then that evening, we gather for our gathering on the ship. We actually will board the ship. And this is a picture of the palace you see here real quickly. It used to run right up to the Adriatic Sea. Now there has been a land filled in out in front of the palace there, so the sea does not come up to the walls, but the walls are still there. It's really interesting to hear the history of this amazing palace there in Split as part of the Roman Empire. So that's a wonderful first day. Then we board our amazing ship. Now, we use a line there in the Adriatic Sea called the Catarina line. They are a wonderful company, and they give us their very best ships. We typically get one of 3. The Futura 1, the Futura 2, or the Infinity. They are their top ships. As a matter of fact, last year I was on a ship called the Avant-Garde, which was amazing. And these are even better than that one. So every year we improve our ships. I'm going to show you a few pictures. You see the size is basically about 120 feet in length, about 40, 45 feet in width. There's only 18 cabins. So that means typically your maximum capacity is going to be about 36 guests or so. So perfect small group size. There's 9 upper, 9 lower. I had a lower cabin. It was absolutely fabulous because you're not in there a whole lot. This is sort of the main action area. This is the dining area and the bar area, of course. There's also a 24-hour coffee and hot chocolate machine in here. You can run a tab. There is wine and beer included with each of your meals. And if you'd like to purchase alcohol throughout the rest of the time, you can. They just charge it to your room at the end of the trip. Of course, you'll take care of that, just like you would on a normal cruise experience. But this is so small and intimate, it is amazing. This is one of the upper cabin areas. You can see the porthole side here. Some of the windows are actually bigger than that. It's not just a porthole window, it's a full-size window. In some of the upper cabins, there are different levels of cabin. This is a lower level. You see the portholes there that you can leave open or close, and I had no problem with the lower level. You are still right at the water line, so you don't feel like you're way down in the ship. It's not that large to feel like you're lost in there anyway. Very spacious accommodations there. The bathrooms are huge. I actually had a room toward the front of the ship that had the shower that was big enough for about 5 people because of the slope of the front of the ship. So plenty of room to get around here. So it is a wonderful ship here. This is some of the common area up back of the deck here behind the dining area. That's what it looks like at night on a different ship there. And then the top deck, of course, when you're sailing from different points, we'll talk about that. You'll be able to go up here and see some beautiful scenery, get some great photographs. And yes, that is a little hot tub up front there. So if you want to put on your suit and get in the hot tub, you can do that. But we also allow some swimming actually in the Adriatic Sea. Now, I was there about this time last year, which is early in the season. It's actually the week before the season started. And it was a little bit chilly. But we did jump in. That is an actual photograph of me and some of my travel agent friends and the Adriatic Sea. Once you get in, your body adjusts to it, but the water is so clear and beautiful. So on day 3, we actually leave Split that morning. We typically will stay on the ship at night in port. We're not going to be on the ship as it's doing sleeping. We'll actually sleep in port every night. So day 3, we cruise, really nice, relaxed start. Breakfast, lunch is included. We stopped for some swimming after lunch, and then we arrived into our next port, which is Cortula. Oh my goodness. This is an amazing town. This is supposedly the home of Marco Polo. No one really knows for sure, but they've taken credit for it. So this little island is wonderful. We have a quick dock here, and you can actually walk the entire island in less than an hour. We have a guided tour there. I'll say our guide, who I'll show you a picture of in a few minutes, was amazing. She's native of the area. Her name is Aida. She actually lost her mother in the war, of course, that occurred here in Yugoslavia back in the 90s. I'll tell you more about that as I show you her picture. She knows these cities like the back of her hand and does a wonderful job. We have a great walking tour of the city, and then we have free time to enjoy and actually have dinner there on our own in Cortula that night, which is amazing. Day 4 then, though, after we sleep in Cortula that evening, we will then move on over. I'll tell you a funny story about Cortula. I was delayed getting in. My bag was delayed even more. So I had my rollerboard, but my big suitcase didn't make it. They arranged, there's a daily shuttle between Cortula and Split. They arranged to put my bag on the ferry from Split, and it was brought directly to me on the ship once we were in Cortula. I mean, just the way the whole team takes care of details there was wonderful. And so I appreciate the way they coordinate. My experience in Cortula was like, I was so relieved to see my suitcase as it rolled off that ferry ship there in Cortula. The next day, though, we're going to travel to the state park of Milgit. Now, Milgit, you see this little island here. It's a beautiful church that's built there of the Benedictine Monastery of St. Mary. That's not the Adriatic Sea around it. That's actually a lake on the island, a freshwater lake, and one of the most beautiful lakes I've ever seen. We take a little hike through the edge of the woods there. It's nothing going to wear you out. It's about a 10-minute walk through the woods. And then we get on this solar-powered shuttle boat that takes us across this pristine, look how clear that water is, lake on the island. And then we visit this beautiful monastery and cathedral or church there. It's beautiful. We have a nice walk around, and the weather was perfect that day. And so this is a wonderful little extra part of the trip. It's not necessarily the Adriatic Sea, but it's a wonderful little lake on the island. Then probably the highlight of the trip is day 4 and day 5 for a lot of folks, Dubrovnik. This is the Game of Thrones. This is that feeling of, medieval times, if you will. Look at the beautiful tile roofs here. The scenery is amazing. They actually have limited now the number of cruise ships that can come into Dubrovnik to 3 per day. Now, several years ago, people would say, oh, I went to Dubrovnik, there were just too many people there. It's not that way anymore. They actually have a mayor who passed a law that says only 3 cruise ships can be in the port there. So you're not overrun. And our ship is not considered one of the cruise ships. We actually dock separately because we're so small. We're not part of the big cruise ships. So we have special access. So it's really nice to be able to go into Dubrovnik and enjoy this beautiful city. Of course, we have a walking tour with our local guide. We have lunch and dinner included here on our first night. We get to spend some time in the city. And then the next day, you have the whole day to explore it on your own. And that's just wonderful. We'll even show you how to get like a bus ticket, which is fairly inexpensive. And it'll take you from the port back and forth to the city itself, to the old city center here. Wonderful day. The thing to do in Dubrovnik is to walk the city walls. It costs about $20 US, but that's me standing there on the wall. It goes around the entire city. As a matter of fact, I think my next slide is a little quick video of a scenery that you can have as you stop at certain points. This is sort of a showery day. It wasn't rainy, but we had little pop-up showers. But this is sort of on the north side of the city, and that's the Adriatic Sea. Just little raindrops falling. Beautiful. I mean, it's breathtaking. For me, this was the highlight of the trip, just to get to see this city and to spend time walking the city walls and to explore. So there you see one of the cruise ships out in the port. They have to tender in on those cruise ships where we dock and just walk straight into the city. So It's wonderful. There's the video again. From there, though, after 2 days in Dubrovnik, an amazing experience there. We start heading back toward Split, back up through the Alfadi Islands, and then to the peninsula here, where we get to actually get some local Croatian farm experiences. Now, you might not be able to tell it right now, but I was really active in the Future Farmers of America back in my high school days, okay? So I really like farming. I have a tractor. I like getting out in the dirt. In this case, we dock here in this beautiful little town, and then we take a motor coach into the countryside here, into Kuna. And Kuna is a small little town, sort of untouched by modern conveniences. And we get to go out on a farm with local folks, and they show you how they grow their vegetables. And, you know, to me, it was like, hey, this is like Union County was 50 years ago. But it was a wonderful experience. And then that night, we have dinner on the farm, and this is how they cooked it. I don't know if you can see here. That's a dome covering another tray like this. This is meat and vegetables and other things, all cooked in an open hearth. They put hot coals on top of these domes, and it's sort of like a Dutch oven, I think you would kind of compare it to. The food was amazing. So that was a great experience, a little less, you know, you're in Dubrovnik where it's a very tourist-oriented type place. This particular town was wonderful. It was way out in the countryside, and our folks just enjoyed that time there. You're actually eating in a building that's over 700 years old. I leaned against the wall when I was sitting there, and I looked around and thought, this is what we try to replicate in America when we try to make something feel old. But this really is 700 years old. This rock wall behind me has been here for 700 years. So that's what Croatia will bring to you. It's that real authentic old world experience in a wonderful modern way. So moving on from there to one of my favorite islands, now we're going back into sort of modern times. Hvar was known as the party capital of the Adriatic Sea for a lot of the Venetians. A lot of people from Venice would take ships over here. This is where the rich and famous would hang out. This is Lavender Island. They grow lavender here. It's beautiful purple all across the countryside there. A little early in April when I was there for the lavender to be blooming. But I picked out my ship. This is the only boat that I could afford in Hvar. So I think I was going to buy that ship. Got a quick little video here of the harbor. It is stunning. Before I start the video, I want to point out top left corner. That is the Spanish fort built on top of the hill looking over the port. At one time, that was a nightclub. When this was the party city of the Adriatic back even during communist times, that was a nightclub up there. It's now being converted back to the historic Spanish fort site that it was. But that tells you a little bit about how much these folks like to have a good time here in Hvar. So, but look at this beautiful port. Just a quick little video. These are all restaurants all around the port area here. The ships are wonderful. The sunlight is beautiful. You see our ship docked over on the other side there. This is just one of the most beautiful ports I've ever traveled to. You can walk through and look down in the water so clear you can see the fish just swimming right along the side of the dock. I mean, it is pristine and absolutely stunning. So love Hvar. I could have spent 2 or 3 days there, just to be honest with you, but we spend the night and move on from there. And then we're kind of coming back towards Split. We come back to our last overnight to the island of Brac and the little port of Bol, B-O-L. And from here, we get a walk, just a little short 10-minute walk along a beautiful little trail to the Golden Cape, also known as Zlatni Rat. Now, the Zlatni Rat does not sound exciting to me, so I call it the Golden Horn. But you can see this beach here has been voted the most beautiful beach in the world in 2019. It is shaped by the wind and the waves, and it is a huge beach area. It's all pebbles. I've got a quick little video to show you here. This is my walk on the beach here. That April afternoon. Of course, April's a little early for the season, so there wasn't a lot of people out sunbathing, and I'm glad I was there to just kind of be alone on this beach. This is sort of the wave side, and the windward side. I'm right on the point here, so as you see me turn around, you'll see that the waves basically stop on this other side because the wind's not coming from that direction. And so pebbles washed to and from on the beach and the mountains in the background. This is a stunning beach, and I'm sure being here later in the season when it's really warm, it is covered up with people. So do a little research on this beautiful beach when you get a chance, but you can explore that on the island of Brac. this is also the sunset I saw on the back of our ship that very night there. As we had our last night dinner, we had a wonderful dinner here. It was captain's dinner, and the captain and the crew actually performed for us. They brought out their musical instruments, and it was just a party that last night on the ship, and they did a wonderful job. And you'll get to know the crew very well. It's a crew of about 10 people, and they are amazing. Now, this lady you see right here, this is Aida. She is wonderful. She was our tour guide. She's written 3 books on the country of Croatia. Her mother was killed in the war. She lost other family members. She is a walking encyclopedia, and hopefully we get first choice to get her with our groups. I'm not going to promise you that when you go, you're going to get her. She is in her early 70s, so I don't know, health-wise. But if you get a chance to travel with her or any of the amazing guides, they will make the trip incredible for you. So what makes Croatia differently with us? Our local experts. We have the best. I'm just going to tell you, we do. So enjoy working with those folks. We also have the amazing local cuisine, the different places we get to stop. The little restaurant we actually eat in Dubrovnik is not a tourist restaurant. It's a local small restaurant. Incredible ships. You saw the photographs of one of the 3 different ships that we use there. They are the best of the best. And then our unique inside experiences, like the island, the farm to table experience, where we get to go out and help them pick the vegetables we're going to eat that night. Those are some of the great things that we do with Inside Vacation. So why is now, or of course, maybe not now, but in the future, a good time to go? They are obviously, just like everyone else, yearning for travelers to come. It is a good value for your dollar. The kuna is their currency. It's fairly close to the American exchange. I think it's 6 to 1 when I was there, but a typical drink would cost you about 5 kuna. So it's about $1, 75 cents to $1. So it's fairly close to our same standards. Not over touristed. Some of the Greek islands and things like that, they're beautiful, they're amazing, and I love them, but they're also a lot of people. These islands, as you saw, are not nearly as touristed, and then of course you can travel in style. The ships, the motor coaches, everything that we use are the best of the best there. So I know been about 23 or 24 minutes. I don't want to keep you any longer than that. If you have any questions, please contact the amazing travel experts with Mann Travels. They will be more than happy to answer your questions. And I'm here to help you too in any way that I can. But really, those wonderful travel advisors are who you need to reach out to. And I want to thank Billy and Ronnie and the whole team there at Mann Travels for this opportunity to share with you today. And I look forward to doing it again sometime really soon.
Absolutely, Tracy. Thank you so much for your wonderful experience in sharing it with us to Croatia. Like Tracy said, please feel free to reach out to your personal Mann Travels advisor with any questions you may have or to get more information on anything. If you're not currently using Mann Travels, check out our website, and you can also email our general inquiry at vacations@manntravels.com. We also have a 1-800 number. If you would like to share this video with anybody, we will have it up within the week on our website and on our YouTube channel. So let's dream together and dream with Mann Travels. I hope you all have a great day, and thank you.